New to Medicare? Start now. Go to myhealthpolicy.com to learn about some of the top-rated Medicare Advantage plans in your area, including plans for $0 a month in plan premiums, low out-of-pocket costs, and expansive provider networks. If you're thinking about a Medicare Advantage plan, myhealthpolicy.com is a great place to go to find a plan that meets your needs. Learn more about your options. Even talk with a licensed insurance agent. myhealthpolicy.com.
New to Medicare? Go to myhealthpolicy.com. With myhealthpolicy.com, you can compare plans from some of the nation's top insurers. Start now to find a plan and apply online. myhealthpolicy.com makes it easy to find a Medicare Advantage plan in your area, including plans for $0 a month in plan premiums, low out-of-pocket costs, and expansive provider networks.
My decision, my Medicare. myhealthpolicy.com.
Hello and welcome to Audio Gyan. Today we have Uday Kumar with us, the man who designed the official currency of India, and we'll be talking about design nuances of the Indian Rupee sign. It was introduced to the world on 15th July 2010. Thanks Uday, thanks for being on the show. It's a great honor to have you on Audio Gyan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to have me on your show. Yeah.
So to begin with, can you just introduce yourself?
My name is Uday Kumar, and I'm an associate professor at Indian Institute of Technology. And I've been teaching in the past 7 years. And I teach mostly visual communication stream, which is like graphic design, typography, branding, and visual design. Yeah, so basically that is what I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the first question which I have is, what were the design goals while designing the rupee sign? I mean, visual harmony, culture, context, or any other considerations which you identified before getting into the design?
Yeah, so I do consider visual harmony in my designs. Any design which I work on, I try to establish a harmony within the design. That's primarily because I want to bring a unity amongst the various visual elements that are there in the design, so that it gives them pleasing appearances. So that is one of the criteria I set. And of course, it depends on the nature of the problem which I address, the design problem. So, but most often I try to kind of come up with an harmonious design.
Mm-hmm. But was that a conscious effort while designing the rupee symbol? I mean, just to keep the visual harmony among other currencies?
Yes, it is intentional. So I look at various principles and try to incorporate them as much as possible into the design, because these are all established principles which are makes the design much more interesting, appealing, and so on. So the harmony basically kind of ties all the parts of the designs together and makes it like a one whole unit. Yeah. So people view it as a single design. So that's why while I do my designs, I do consider all of these aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. So what were your design goals before getting to work on the design?
So mostly I follow the design brief. So this was, as you know, was a competition. So they had certain criteria for the competition, and they wanted some aspects of the design to rather the design should reflect the Indian culture and history and tradition, so on and so forth. So I kind of set a focus on that. And then I started to work towards that, trying to bring out that Indianness into the symbol. So that was one of my first objectives when I was creating the symbol. So I often look at the design brief and try to see what is it they look for. And maybe I also add on to it, not just strictly follow what that design brief says. So apart from that, I kind of add my own thoughts and ideas and make it much more, enhance it much more than that. So as the brief suggested, it has to be an Indian symbol and following the culture and the ethos. So I was trying to bring out that into the symbol. So that was my focus while I was designing it.
Mm-hmm. But apart from Indian values and reflecting the Indian culture, were there any other design parameters which you took into consideration?
Parameters in the sense that it was a very challenging task, because our India is a diverse country. So, and trying to come up with a unified symbol was a challenge for me, and which does not have any bias. So then I tried to incorporate elements that could kind of eliminate all of these biases, or defined opinion of certain things. Like so I try to portray the flag into that because it has patriotic feel, not just that, but also it appeals to all across all sections of the population and community. So I try to incorporate certain elements like that so that it even so that it represents the Indianness as a whole. Yeah.
The next which I want to ask is, what was your process to evaluate that the symbol you are making or you arrived at will work across all the use cases? I mean, with respect to shape, size, color, context, or language for that matter. What was the process?
I try to see that in the various examples that we would see them. Yeah, so I try to see them beforehand. In the sense, I envision various places that the symbol would probably be implemented. So I try to portray them onto those examples and try to see. And I choose these examples based on the various printing techniques, sizes, proportions, colors, background, and things like that. So I kind of do a series of sketches and drawings and try to see them how this could look like or how it would appear in various contexts and surfaces and techniques and so on and so forth, how it will be reproduced in various forms. So I kind of work on all of these things after I kind of finalize my design and see that it works well or not. And then I fine tune them based on the various applications of the design.
Hmm. So, do you think there should be a process, or can there be a process to design something, especially when you're designing for such a large set of people?
Actually, the beauty of design is that everybody has their own approach, design process to kind of come up with a design solution. If you put a strict like step 1, step 2, step 3, it kind of limits the design in some sense. I mean, at least this is what I see it. Maybe I might be wrong as well. So each one has their own way of approaching a design problem and then coming up with their own design solutions. So mine may not be the same as another designer or probably how a lot of other designers or design firms work with respect to their logo design or a branding exercise or any design project. So what I do is like you already mentioned that I do a lot of research. I study about it and try to understand the brief as much as possible and try to be very clear and then try to break them into small units and try to understand them and then try to come up with a concept that will kind of do justice to the proper brief. And I create a lot of ideations, a lot of iterations. So I do a lot of doodling and it is a process and like it takes time. So it's evolving also. It is not that at the first go I just get it right or things like that. So yeah, I'll have first concept and then I'll work on the next concept completely different, and then see which looks better, which works well, which does not. And like I mentioned in the earlier question, that I try to see in the various applications which would look better in all of these applications. And so I do a lot of iterations, fine tuning. So it takes time. It keeps evolving also. And then at some point of time, I feel that okay, yeah, this is good enough, and this actually caters the client wants. So then I try to kind of put forward that design and make it finalize.
Hmm. So, given the context of the rupee or the currency sign itself, is there any significance of vertical lines versus horizontal lines?
Yeah, I did study all the currency symbols as much as possible and try to understand their history and how it has actually evolved and what does it mean. So then I kind of learned that this dollar is actually came from the pesos, which they used to write like P and S. And over a period of time that they kind of become together, and only the vertical stroke of the letter P, capital letter P, had remained in the S, and then it become like the dollar symbol which is right now. Yeah, the S with a cross of a vertical line over that on top of it. So likewise, there are some symbols which has some kind of written literature on that, and then so I try to look at it and try to figure out why this line is there. Then you kind of see that all the currency symbols around the world has this one commonality, which is like a line which cuts across them either vertically or horizontally. Yeah. So each one of them have their own significance, and I'm not aware of all of them. So at least from the dollar's point of view, I do know that it has evolved from the letter P and S, and they come together. So in the rupee symbol context, what I try to do is I wanted to portray this national flag, which I already told you before, because I wanted to come up with a symbol which is like which represents everyone, a common man of our country. So, and also to do with patriotism and also the Indianness of it. So that's why I try to kind of place an horizontal line instead of a vertical line, and try make it a national flag, trying to portray a national flag flying high in the symbol. So it was like a symbolic gesture. So it was very, so you can see them as the tricolor flag there with that horizontal line. So that was the intention. And also, apart from that, I wanted to create this equal to arithmetic sign, which means that it is like a balanced economy. So I want our country's economy to be balanced and flourishing and moving forward. And if you look at business, it is basically it is a transaction, isn't it? It's like a give and take. So that's what that is what actually the currency does, isn't it? You give a product the equal amount of rupees you give them. So the equal value, the sharing of values, like in the barter system. So all of these things is what led me to kind of use an horizontal line and try to portray them into the design. Yeah. So instead of vertical, I thought, and it was also like the harmony also was kind of played a bit into the design. So instead of a vertical, if you had put a vertical line across the letter R, it would have kind of created a complex form. And the horizontal line was much more pleasing and appealing, and it fits better, while placing the line. Yeah.
That was quite insightful, actually. Obviously, there's so much to learn from you that an hour-long audio GAN will also be less. Yeah. So, what I wanted to ask you is, like, you have made something which is almost equivalent to a national anthem, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
So what's your take on making immortal design? I mean, we being designers like continuously struggle to make something which can last for a very long time. So I wanted to understand what's your perspective on making design timeless.
That's very difficult, actually. So there is no precise formula to make a design immortal. So only time will tell. And so it's not easy. And so in fact, I don't have an answer for that. So because if you know the formula, then everybody will kind of just follow it, and you will you will find immortal designs everywhere, isn't it? So there are a lot of factors comes into picture, and they play a crucial role. And only time will kind of tell you whether the design is kind of works in the long run or not. So I'm not kind of very sure of it. So
No, the question is more towards understanding your vision of making something timeless. I mean, there are few things which haven't changed their form since inception. For example, hammer, right? So one of the reasons could be if you make any more iterations on that, uh, you might end up losing its function.
hmm, hmm.
Uh, s-
Yeah.
uh, Similarly, what are your thoughts on making your design last long, if not timeless?
Maybe keeping it simple. Simple is would be one of the criteria. I mean, it's not like all design has to be simple, but yeah, the simplicity can kind of extend the longevity of the design, perhaps. Yeah, at least, I mean, at the moment, that is what I could think of. So making it a simple design, and at the same time trying to kind of hit the nail, in the sense like trying to address the issue which has been in both. Yeah. So, and that could probably kind of extend the life of a design, maybe. So trying to understand the bare essential quality of the design, and then coming up with a solution which is very simple and at the same time very effective in addressing that problem. Yeah.
Uh-huh. This is slightly off topic, but was just curious to ask you that uh, after the demonetization and obviously the new currency notes coming into the market, there were a lot of design posts bashing the new 2000 rupee note. And I did my bit of research to understand what goes into making a currency and how complicated the task is, how many stakeholders are there in it. Uh, but wanted to ask you what's your take on it?
Uh, Probably the person who had designed it maybe had a brief from the government and maybe had done according to it. So because we don't know the nature of the assignment, so it is not fair to kind of make a judgment unless we exactly know what is being given and what was requested to design and so on and so forth. Yeah, so it will be hard to tell for me. So again, maybe the government took a decision and they wanted it in certain way probably, and that is why it is like that. And they might have some security features. Oh, I don't know actually personally. Yeah, so there might be a lot of things which we are not aware of unless they kind of come up with some note or some article or something like describing what was their process and idea behind it and so on. So maybe there'll be some light and we will be able to know exactly why things are that way. So other than that, I'm just clueless. So I have no idea of it.
But if you were given the chance to design the 2000 rupee note, what will be your like top two goals or consideration um, while making the design?
Definitely security is the first and foremost thing. Yeah, you don't want to counterfeit the note, isn't it? That is the topmost of all of the things. More than the design, I would say. Yeah, because that is what the value of the currency itself is. Yeah. So the security feature is one of the first thing which I would like to look upon and try to come up with something, and also probably the uniqueness of the note. Oh, yeah, uniqueness and security. I would kind of put it. Yeah, to begin with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks a lot, Uday, for giving us your time and sharing some really interesting design gyan behind the rupee symbol.
Yeah. Thank you.
It was great talking to you. Thanks for giving us your interview on Audio
Yeah.
Gyan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that's it from today's Gyan session. Stay tuned for more Audio Gyan next week. Till then, bye.